Right. You just brought up the topic of being called a denier or flat earthers. Um, I see that one as very offensive to anybody trying to discuss the issue to automatically look, we have flat earthers. Those people exist. I don't know how many, but I'm sure they exist. Um, Climate deniers, we also have a fair share of those too. But to deny the fact that there is more nuance, that just that this is not a black or white conversation, that it's more nuanced than that, is intellectually dishonest and is against open inquiry. You say in the book that you find the fact that being called a climate denier equated to a Holocaust denier is personally offensive to you. If I were called the same thing, it'd be personally offensive to me because, we had relatives lost in the Holocaust, and I mean, it's just offensive. What do you see maybe this is it's not really a science question, but a general question. What do you see? Are you optimistic about the future of open inquiry in America?
Not at the moment, no. I mean, again, just to put a little color on it, Scientific American published a week ago a piece by a dozen climate scientists, and it was led by a professor at Harvard, Naomi Oreskes. I want to name names because people should know who's doing this. Second author was Michael Mann, a prominent climate scientist at Penn State. Another was, I'm blanking now, but the principal author of the last national, Don Roberts class. And, these are credentialed scientists, but to write a piece that is 95% name calling without foundation is just so outside of the behavior of ordinary scientists that I think they have beclowned themselves, if I could use that word. So I'm not optimistic when it's that deeply ingrained in both the scientists and the publication that would publish such a thing, and of course not let me respond. I submitted a response, they turned it down. I'm not optimistic. On the other hand, I've gotten so much positive feedback unsolicited from people who say, gosh, I read that book, it opened my eyes up. Everybody should read this book. Including some people actually who I would have thought would not have said that. But, I'm just a guy trying to lay out the facts. I'm not denying anything in the reports. I'm just repeating what's in there. So maybe we can get to a more factual basis. There's another thing that perhaps bodes well. And it's a funny thing, a funny way of thinking about it. As the administration starts to take actions that affect people directly, for example, you would not be able to buy an internal combustion engine car after 2035, or your electricity reliability and costs are going to go up, reliability down, as we start to tinker with the grid. Our national energy security will be degraded if we cut back on oil and gas production domestically. But those start to affect people's lives, perhaps their jobs. And there's going to be a much greater call for a scrutiny of the scientific motivations for this. And people are going to start to ask, tell me again why we're doing this when you have that kind of disruption. In the same vein, if this is really a national security issue, it deserves the same scrutiny that other national security issues do, like how far along is North Korea in their atomic weapons program, or what's the capability of the latest Chinese submarine, or whatever. And that's a much more rigorous scrub than anything that climate science has gotten to date. And I hope that we will get to that point and that we can then have a more fact-based discussion of these matters.